Good morning, YouTube. Getting ready, not getting ready. I don't know why I just said that. That was stupid. I was about to say getting ready to start my day, but my day had been started for a good minute. It's funny how, you know, stuff like this makes you wake up. Really? What the heck? Boy, the stuff that happens on my YouTube channel, my phone cut out, turned off, everything. Jesus. Jesus, take the wheel. What's what the heck's going on? Now it's cutting out. Like the screensavers kicking in. Oh brother. You know, if it ain't one thing, it's another, Mike. You know how like you got your phones where it's acting like oh man, I'm gonna have to be touching the phone. What kind of crap? Unfreaking believable. The phone. It's like it doesn't want to. Jesus. You know what? I can't win. I can't win. Let me see something. Let's see what is wrong with my phone. Let me see something here. Let me pull over. Hold on, Mike. I'm gonna reset my phone and see what that does. I'm gonna reset the phone and see what that does. Lord have mercy. Let's see here. That's the camera. Back. I honestly, if it ain't one thing, it's another. Let me check Bluetooth. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Oh my God. All right. I checked my settings after I reset it. My phone was set to uh, black out 30 seconds. You know, this new hold on. Okay, this new Samsung stuff, it's gonna make me start looking for an Apple iPhone or something. I'm tired of it. You know, um, but it was cutting out every 30 seconds. Now I got to set to 10 minutes. So we'll see. We'll see. This is stupid, bro. I mean, you know, but I mean, it seems to be the stitch, you know, the stitch or what stick or whatever the heck they call it for this channel. We'd be screwing up early. You know, that was one of the reasons why I did. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to do early, so when I screw up, it won't be so embarrassing. But you know, I'll be laughing about it because every day is something else. Every day is something else. You know what I mean? That's the crazy part. Every day is something else. You don't know what's going to happen when you check in with me, and I'm not going to do it while I'm driving. No, I'll pull over. You know, I'll pull over. I ain't supposed to be pulling over, but look, I'll pull over because I'm not going to be have my hand on the phone. That's one of the things as a driver. All these states that I drive in, it's against the law to have the hand on the phone. I think it's against the law federally also that your hand should be on the phone while you're driving. And you know, it's a very, very expensive. It's a very expensive fine, and you don't you're not gonna have your job. So that's why I have two mounts. When I'm done, that's why when I'm done with the live, I pull over and I move my phone back to my other mount, which is out of the. Hey, what's up? What's up, social media? I move it out of the window back to the lower mount, but I don't have to stare at it. It's all for safety. I'm not trying. Let me just say this: I'm not a super trucker. I'm just a survivor. I'm not going to get on here and say I know what I'm doing. I know how to survive. I unofficially have done over 1,000,000 miles. I'm waiting. I got about 20,000 miles left in this company to be officially a 1,000,000 mile driver for the company I work for. But I've learned over the years. I've learned over the years of how to survive out here. Let's, let's just say it like that. I learned over the years how to survive. I learned over the years how to just do what I can do to the best of my ability. I would tell you the truth. I was, you guys laugh and I say I be smelling like HZZ, but a lot of times you don't get to the truck stop to stop. You don't get to the truck stop to wash up. Those normal things that you guys get to do,
it's a part of my life that I don't get to do. I spent a lot. I spent the night in a dirt bike. So all I could do to clean up is I have these, one bought me like 20 packages of them, but they're aloe vera washcloths or whatever, disposable washcloths. So I wipe my face. I've done all that. Good morning. I think somebody else came in. If I acknowledge you, I apologize. It's a part of my job. Just like all you guys do different jobs. This is a part of mine. This is a part of my job when I'm driving. I don't know if I'm going to make it home. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but anybody could come in. You see that guy coming in from the right? I'm moving over to give him space so he can get in. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping distance. Even though it's company policy, I'm also keeping distance because of all the weight that I carry. It's funny how we say, well, what do I need to know about physics? I'm just going to be doing this. Look, when you drive an 18-wheeler, you need to know about physics. I see someone else came. Good morning, good morning. You need to know about physics. Resistance and matter and weight and all of that, you need to know about physics. Why did I say that? Okay. I'm going to give you just a random story. Story time. When you go off these off ramps and you see the off ramp says on the interstate, off ramp says 15 miles an hour, right? That is the off ramp speed, not for an 18-wheeler. That's the off ramp speed for a car. Okay? So when you get on an off ramp, you need to slow down at least I'm not finished, I think like 10 miles below whatever that sucker said. Because depending on how you load it, is your stuff low to the ground or is it filled all the way to the top of the trailer? You could tip over making those, the turns on the off ramp. You could drop the truck. The truck will flip on its side. You will have to watch. You got to know the physics of your truck. What can you do and what not without throwing, like flipping your truck. Um, when I first started out, I was fully loaded. Fully loaded means I'm 80,000 pounds strong. The total weight of my truck is 80,000 pounds. So when you're that heavy, just pushing on brakes ain't gonna stop you. There's three ways to stop a truck. There's three ways to slow a truck down. Your Jake brake. Jake brake is like an engine brake. It turns on. It turns on off certain valves in the engine or something like that, and it slows the engine down. That's why when you hear the big Peterbilts, you hear that. It's slowing the engine down. You also can downshift. You can downshift. It used to, everybody used to be driving these stick shift, but you can also downshift with automatic. On mine, it's the handle on the right side of the steering wheel. You just push it forward. Give it a second. It will actually downshift. It will actually go to a lower gear. And the last but not least is your brakes. Well, I was coming off and I was coming onto an on ramp to get off at the exit. But I was coming to that exit full tilt boogie. I ain't slow down. I was driving I was driving this not this 18-wheeler, but a 18-wheeler like I was driving a car. And this was in my early years of uh, learning how to drive an 18-wheeler. Early, I came off the interstate going up to the light, and I commenced to hit the brake. Nothing happened. I kept on going. The the weight of the trailer said, "Oh heck no, you gonna learn today," and it kept on pushing me. So I went up to the light. Thank God there was no one around, and kept on going. I had my foot to the floor on the brake, and the truck kept on going. And you talk about the bass in my voice, it went from stop. It went from stop to stop. And I kept on going. The momentum kept. I kept going. I'm trying to stop, but I couldn't stop because I didn't put in. I didn't put in the common sense of, okay, you're coming up to an exit, slow down, take your foot off the gas. I didn't come to the exit, slow down, downshift, slow down, turn on the Jake brake to slow you down, tap on the brake. I ain't do none of that. And I kept on, I would have flat, I would have killed somebody. And the reason I said that, it's not, again, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just surviving. The reason I said that is a lot, not a lot. I'm probably exaggerating, so please forgive me. 99.9% of truck drivers nowadays, my generation, probably the generation before that, and this new generation, you're being taught by someone that does not have the experience in the life of driving. The guy before you that's your trainer, he's probably got a month ahead of you. These big companies, that's what they do. They flip a coin of the percentage. They try to convince you, oh, you can be a trainer or whatever. Now, all the years that I know, I've never trained nobody. Never again. Because there's too much, when you're training the guys, too much testosterone. And the women, it actually, except for the first woman I taught, the women, I taught two other women. They're really good drivers, but it takes a minute to get them to listen. But a lot of guys won't force a woman to learn the important stuff. That guy mode kicks in. I'll do it for you. But you'll see a lot of stories where the woman doesn't know how to back up because the trainer kept on backing up for her. You don't know. You got to force the woman to learn how to do it. You got to force your trainer to learn how to do it. And side note, I was training one guy one time, and I was telling him how to do it, and he totally disregarded everything I said. And I was at my last limit. I said, I'm never training nobody again. I called and said, look, you need to get me back to the yard. I'm not training this guy no more. Because this guy's gonna get me killed. He don't want to listen. He don't want to listen. It's that testosterone. You think you know more than me. And that was I tried again years later. But most of the people that train you don't know what they're doing. Ain't got enough time under their belt. Charles, y'all know Charles, my moderator. He's got like 3 or 4 million miles under his belt. And he told me one time, because he knows I get really emotional. He says, look, man, you're going to hit stuff, you're going to break stuff, just do the best you can. That's all you can do. He said, I'm not, and we laugh about it. He said, I'm not that good. And when he said like that, I understand he says, take it with a grain of salt, just do the best you can. That's all you can do. You know what I mean? And I've said all that to say that I did a like a 3 or 4 minute video talking about coming down the mountain, and, when when you're coming down the mountain in the 18 wheeler, that can be one of the most scariest things out there. There is a guy that's in prison now because he killed all of these people and he could not stop. He came down, I think it was I-70 over there, west of uh, west of Colorado, and he could not stop. He was flatbed, full load. He could not stop, and he ran into traffic and plowed into all these people, killed all these people. No, he did not have the experience to drive in the mountains. That heavy weight, you cannot drive a regular. You can't drive an 18-wheeler going full tilt boogie with that weight. But a lot of these big companies, what they do is they tell you, well, you can lease, and you're not making any money, so why don't you train? And because you're a lease operator, why don't you train to keep the truck moving? So you're a piece of meat. They don't care about you. They just need that truck to keep moving. And that's what happened to me when I had my trainer. He was a piece of crap. If I explain what nationality is, y'all gonna call me a bigot, a racist, whatever. He was a piece of crap. And he didn't teach me nothing. I had to learn the hard way. And I learned one thing. I learned that I had to get out and start asking other truckers. And I remember I had heard of this mountain pass. It's called Cabbage. The reason they call it Cabbage is because it's supposed to look like a cabbage. But it's over on the other side of the freaking country, and it's steep. Now I remember when I had spoken to the man. He just went to bed. I didn't know what to do. And I was terrified. And I said, you know what? Mama ain't make me stupid. I got out of that truck. It was a Love's close to the area where Cabbage was supposed to be. And I got out and I found a guy at Peterbilt. And the old Caucasian dude. And I said, excuse me, sir, I'm sorry to bother you. I'm new to trucking. And I'm heading west, and I'm supposed to be going towards Cabbage, and I am terrified. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Could you please help me? Because I literally said, I don't want to die. He said, no problem. So he said, you got a pen and paper? He said, write all this stuff down, and he started explaining. He said, certain mom rocks, watch out for this. Certain mom rocks, watch out for this. Once you start climbing the mountain, go slow. Don't worry about what other people are honking at you and all that. Because that's how these other drivers do. Don't worry about them. Worry about yourself. Whatever speed, whatever gear you're in, if you're in fifth gear, throw on your flashes, because if you're waiting, you're going to slow down anyway. Throw on your flashes, just climb the mountain. He said, at mile marker such and such, you're going to hit the crest of the mountain. Whatever speed limit and whatever gear that you was in going up the mountain, I want you to go down that mountain, that same speed limit. So if you're going 35 miles going up the mountain, you need to go 35 miles going down the mountain. And if you was in fifth gear or sixth gear or seventh gear, you need to stay in that gear. Do not get out of that gear, because if you pull out of that gear, at the moment I was doing a manual, you're not going to be able to get in there because your truck will start revving up or whatever. Do not get out of that gear. Don't touch it. Stay in that gear. But pick a speed limit that you like, say for example, you're going 35 miles an hour. When that sucker gets up to 40, don't hit the brakes. Start pumping the brakes. Slowly get it back down to 35. watch it crawl back up to 40 again. Then do it again. Slowly. It's called stabbing the brakes. I even Googled it. Slowly do it, and then once you get back up there, speed here. And he said, do that all the way down the mountain. And he said, from now on, that's how I want you to go down mountain pass. Because if you don't, the one time that you don't do that, you're gonna lose your brakes. What do I mean by lose your brakes? You can stab on your brakes so much that your brakes will overheat, catch on fire, and melt, and you will have no brakes. That's why when you go through the mountain pass, you see these big it looks like a big long gravel patch. Those are escape ramps for trucks that have lost their brakes. And once you hit that, you ain't got no job anyway because you didn't do your job right. But once you hit that, it's going to slow you down. But you have to go slow enough. Stop worrying about what other people think. There's a young lady, a sister, that on, it's very scary, Mike, honestly. There's a sister on TikTok where she got a reckless driving because she came flying down the mountain pass. She came flying down. And that's a career ending. It's a career ending thing. And there's so many things in the video. You got to watch your tachometer. You don't want to go too fast. And these Kenworths, you got to watch how much you lose when you lose air. Because in an 18-wheeler, you don't have brake fluid. You have air pressure. And when you pump the brakes, normally the compressor will kick in and get it. But Kenworths, you lose air pressure a whole lot quicker. So you got to watch the air pressure. You got to watch. At the end of the video, I tell you all the stuff you got to watch. I learned that because the man told me. My trainer did not tell me that. My trainer did not tell me that. And for years after that, I literally drive with my Jake brake on. A lot of people turn theirs off. I drive with my Jake brake on. It's on high. So anytime, like right now, I'm coasting. I got like and it's just my preference. I'm not telling nobody what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm not telling. It's just my preference. Because anytime, and I'm doing the anytime I let off the gas, my Jake brake turns on and slows me down. Like right now, I'm going down the hill. You don't see it, but I'm going down the hill. I tap on the brake, and then I let go, and my Jake brake takes over. So I'm used to slowing down. I always find you got to give, because of the momentum, because of the weight that I have behind me. That's why a lot of times you see when I see it, people jump in front of me, where they give me a car length, and that's not good enough. I need at least 1 or 2 truck lengths ahead of me. It takes a full at 55 miles an hour, it takes a full football field to stop. People don't realize that. They just jump in front of you, no big deal, I ain't gonna die. You're putting your life on the line, bro. You're putting your life on the line. I'm not telling you what to do, but just remember that next time you go out and you jump in front of a truck, try to give that truck at least a truck lane. Now, I said all that, say, about safety. I'm going to tell you another story where I almost lost my brakes in the Carolinas. And I believe it's Interstate 77, north of Charlotte. I was in a brand new freight shaker. There's a light. I thought indicated that the Jake brake was on. Because I tell you, I drive my Jake brake on. But I think in the freight shakers, if you tap them, you do something, it turns the the Jake brake off. And once it's like, so when a solid light, because nobody tells you, they just give you a key. I had to learn the hard way. A solid light means that the Jake brake is on. A flashing light means it's off. So, but I went down. It didn't look like it. It was steep, but I went down a mountain pass, and my Jake brake wasn't on. And I'm thinking my Jake brake is on. I got the Jake brake. What's wrong with my Jake brake? And I'm hitting the brakes. I'm trying to slow this puppy down. I'm gaining speed. I'm trying to slow the puppy down, gaining speed. I'm gaining speed. And I have a truck driver come up on my left. Like, you know, the left side of the camera, blowing his horn. And he's pointing down and look at your tire. And I looked out my rear view mirrors and I see smoke coming out of my car. You want to talk about I almost lost it. I was smoking my brakes because I didn't realize I didn't have the Jake brake on. So I started commencing to pumping the brakes, slow down, and I almost lost the brakes. They were right at the point of melting. They were red hot. I made it into the what you call it. I made it into the rest area. Got out, legs were shaking, and my legs were shaking. I wasn't teary eyed, but I was scared, and I didn't realize that that's what's going on. These companies don't tell you; they just give you a key. Here, figure it out. And now when I get into trucks, I have to figure it out before these things happen. But you got a lot of people. The new age is starting to come in and take over. I got a few more years and then I'm gonna be done. But the new age of truckers coming in, everybody making videos and all this other stuff, and they know everything, but they don't realize that a lot of this you're gonna learn on your own when you get out here. You're gonna learn the hard way. Just like right now, I don't. My truck is governed at 65. I could care less. That is as fast as I'm going on this monstrosity. That's fast. That's as fast as I'm going. I promise you that. But there's a lot of things you need to learn about this. Another thing is we don't eat. Truckers don't eat though. So we got a lot of problems. High blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, you name it. Most truck drivers, especially the overweight ones, either type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetic and don't know it. They can't hold it to get. It takes every time that you pull in, trust and believe. It takes every time to pull in to a truck stop. It's 15 to 30 minutes. Time is money when you drive these trucks. A lot of times I see one lady, it's always the woman, oh, this is disgusting. He's pulling in over here. He's pulling on the side of the road and going in between the truck and going to the bathroom. Yes. One, he probably couldn't make it to the truck stop. He's going to the bathroom. A lot of guys, what they do is they take bottles and go to the bathroom in the bottle and then chuck it. You shouldn't be doing that, but they do it. But what y'all don't know, certain states, I think Oregon's one of them. If you pull over to the side of the road and get in between the truck and go to the bathroom like that, and the cop catches you, I think it's like a $20,000 fine. Don't quote me on that. I remember seeing it years ago. $5 fine because you're hazmat or something. That's considered hazmat, and then you're put on the sexual predator list for going to the bathroom. That's why I have a toilet in my 18 wheeler or stuff like that. That's why I have a toilet in my 18 wheeler. I ain't saying I'll be doing legal stuff, but I'm just saying, certain states you gotta watch. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you gotta watch it. But that's why, look, I'm trying to eat better, trying to do this, blah, 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 blah. But people not understanding it's you're forced to coffee, monster drinks, vitamins and caffeine and all of this other stuff to get down the road because you got to make a certain amount of money to get your bills paid. I got to make 2,000 miles. I'm not going to make 2,000 miles till tomorrow. And guess what? I'm driving into Memphis. I got to drive into Memphis tomorrow. Y'all keep me in your prayers because they're talking about there's going to be a whole lot of tornadoes in Memphis in the afternoon. So hopefully I can get in and out before all that go down. If not, I'm go to our yard and park and hope for the best. That's all I'm going to do. I'll tell you right now. Keep my eye on the sky, and I'm going to keep my eye on, the radar. But this is what trucking is about, and they say, well, these guys be dirtying up the truck stop. You know why? Because if I'm taking your freight and you leave garbage on the trailer, and they said, well, you can't empty that in our dumpster. It's your junk. It's your crap. You got to find somewhere to get rid of it. Truckers are desperate. They will back up and wait for nobody looking and empty whatever the junk that's in the back of that trailer so they can get to the next stop. I'm not saying it's right. I found cases of toilet paper at one place. I put them in above my sleeping rack. I had coffee cups. And I found 3 cases of coffee cups. I used them for years until I ran out. I've got 100 pounds of rice right now. That the guy was walking over, he was trying to get it out, he was sneaking it over to the dump. These are the things that happen to us. You're just popping it out there. This is what we have to go through. But you need to walk it over there. Okay. You know what? I'm not going to say how. Okay. But this is what goes on out here. This is what happens out here on the road. And then you wonder why, when you see me come home, I'm not having a 12-pack of beer, and I'm getting sick, and then I just literally sit out in my driveway. I sit out in my driveway and look at nature. And I just sit out and just say, and decompress, because this is what goes on out here. I could have went probably about 100 more miles yesterday, but I knew I was going to get close enough. I didn't remember the other truck stop, and it was getting late in the evening. I was going to be stressing about where can I find a place to walk. Where can I do this? There's not enough parking out here. It's doggy dog. People will make their own parking spot, and they don't care. People don't care. Nobody cares. But you want to have all that stuff at Walmart. You want to have all that stuff at the supermarket. But you want to get that truck, get out of my way, get out of my way. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm not complaining, but I'm just telling you that's how it is out here. Charles would send me, they hang around in, the lower states now. But that man, he ain't afraid of nothing. he was driving through snow drifts and whiteouts and all kinds of stuff. He gonna handle that business. I'm like, well, good luck with that. Cause I'd have pulled the heck over. F all the bull crap. I'd have pulled the heck over. You know? But we let that fuck. It ain't funny. It ain't funny, ha. But it is what it is. I'm supposed to get my next truck soon. I'm gonna start putting some more stuff in here so I can live a little bit more comfortable. I have a portable refrigerator, so I'm gonna start prepping more. I got a little small refrigerator. I'm gonna put it in the top bunk. Start prepping more. I'm gonna have more stuff prep so I can be more relaxing. Start exercising more. I treated myself to chopped steak, collard greens, and coleslaw yesterday. The only thing that wasn't low carb was the cornbread, but I was putting that in the brown gravy. Oh my God, it was delicious. But every once in a while, you got to start. You got to treat yourself. Well, you know what? I deserve this. Something nice, and I do it. But you got a lot of guys that will half behind do stuff. They will. I did a video about flat tire. Oh, I've driven three states over. You're lying. Because see, look, I'm going through a scale house right now. I just drove over the weights on the interstate. They're checking at the scale house to tell you. And I just got the signal, bypass the weight station. The computer checks if the weight is off. It's a computer that tell you. It'll tell you exactly what tire is flat. So don't sit here and tell me you drove 4 states over and you're driving on flat, or you keep on driving. I don't own this thing. I'm a company driver. I don't own this vehicle. This is date stuff. So I'm gonna pull over and I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna tell everybody I got flat. Oh, it's dangerous. Well, this whole life is dangerous. Okay? I'm gonna pull off on the off ramp or whatever. The only reason I went on the off ramp the last time because I was blowing tire stuff all over the place. And it was about to take out the next tire if I had moved any further. That's it. I look at it this way. God is telling me something. He's telling me, hey, I gave you a flat, so there was an accident waiting on you, a couple of miles up the road. So you need to go ahead and pull over right now. Okay. I used to get so upset. Oh, God, oh my God. Oh, man. Every once in a while, I'll still get upset. I'm not trying. Man, look at the tires on that today. But it's a living. Yes, I would like to have a more business, but until I can make the transition. You know, I mean, this is what I'm doing for my life. You know, I had to buy another GPS to an area where it said no keep my eye on and keep your eye on the product. And you gotta learn, and you gotta learn. There's some truck stops you don't want to go up in. There's one down here, a little further down. I don't go there unless I have to. My first few years, dating Norman, whatever, I would park there all the time. I had no sense. Those some tight parking spots. I would never park in there now. I would never park in there now. You know, never. Never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Yeah. But there's some stuff that you learn. Like I learned, you know, backing in the truck. When you're backing in the truck, you're really not steering the front of the truck. You're driving the back of the trailer to get into the hole. These are, you know, certain things that, you know, nobody tells you about until it clicks. One day it's going to click in your head. One day it's going to click. Your reaction time. That, you know, because you're tired. I have a certain amount of tiredness. Once I get past that certain amount, I pull over because my reaction time is too slow. You gotta have a certain amount of reaction time to, or in your perception. I'm so used to looking way ahead. I remember we went to the movies the other night, and the guy was on the road. He stopped. And I told my wife, "Hey, stop!" I literally said like that. She said, "What? You don't see that guy stopped up there? We're about to hit him." These are the things that you learn that your perception is a whole lot different. You're looking for other things. You're looking like, wait a minute, he looked like he getting a little bit too close. That means that he's either slowed down or he stopped. You know, it just simple stuff. Look at the sign. All of these signs on the side of the interstate are telling you something. Exit 164 coming up. Bridge of Isis before road. Mile marker. See how that's too close. You see how that guy just jumped in front of me? That sets off my alarm in the truck. And if I don't tap the brakes and slow down, I get in trouble. It messes with my safety score. If I get too high with safety score, I can get sidelined, written up. All of this stuff adds up to make me look like Boo Boo the Freak Food. But I gotta remember, I start switching up. What am I start craving junk food when I'm stressed out and driving. I start craving junk food, thinking that's gonna keep me awake. Oh boy, no, that ain't good. It ain't healthy either. You know, not good or healthy. But you know, that's the thing about, you know, it's like, see, most truckers, see how he'll come over right now instead of giving me a truck lane. What you're supposed to do, this is how Charles taught me when it's a good idea. If you can't see both, like see how he passed, look, he's giving me a truck lane. If you can't see out of your passenger side mirror, both headlights on the truck that you're passing, you don't have enough room to get over. That's one of the things I learned. And I use that as a reference. lot of times the driver will give you he'll flash you. He'll hit the high beams and high and low real quick, say it's okay to come over. That's one of the things. A lot of times when you see a 18-wheeler when he's driving and lights are flashing, that ain't for y'all four-wheelers. That's for us, other truckers. He's saying, hey, I'm going below 50 miles an hour. Beware. I'm going below 50 miles an hour. Another thing, you pull over to the side of the road, if you got enough open space, why don't you get some momentum, start driving, and then look for it. Don't just come out. You know, it depends on the reaction time. Because most guys won't get over. And they'll slam right in the back of you. You know what I mean? They'll slam right in the back of you. And when you pull over, look. Don't just hit for the dirt. That dirt could be weak. Look for a spot that's all concrete or all asphalt. I'm just saying. You'll get yourself in a world of trouble and have to get pulled out. Oh. And I've been rolling since 2 this morning. So don't you just love it? Don't you just love it? Pick up this load and get down the road. Hopefully I can get on the other side of Alabama, maybe Mississippi, but we'll see. We shall see. We shall see. And another thing, what else did I learn? I learned so much. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware. Yes, I'm getting delirious. And another thing, when the sun comes up, it actually triggers something in your brain. It actually triggers something in your brain. Hey, you need to start waking up. And also be aware, other than night folks like Mike, there's some that around like 3 o'clock, starting around like 2, 3 o'clock, your body starts saying, hey, I'm supposed to be asleep. So you got to learn how to fight through. You got to learn how to fight through that feeling. You know, you got to learn to fight through it. You got to learn to keep an eye on the speed. But right now, turn something. All right, guys. Oh, we're gonna switch subjects for just a minute. I'm trying to figure out what can I do, and I think I'm just gonna buy a lesson, like maybe 1 or 2 pieces of solid, and just lower the top floor, and I'm gonna start spending. Trying to level up my. I'm gonna be leveling out my lawn this year, with including continuing the plug. I think I'm just gonna get 1 or 2 rolls of sod, cut them up, place them in the yard, and continue to level it out. I wasn't going to do it, but I really need to because I think it'll help the plugs that are out there right now. I need to aerate the lawn. I'm not going to aerate where I got the plugs at right now. That's what everything else around it. I'm going to aerate. And my aerator, the tires are flat, but I got two of them. The good aerator with blades and everything on it. I'm going to switch the tires over and get the other one to repair or order, or I'm just going to order the new inner tubes and get them done. It's not regular core aerator, it's got blades in it, so it does a different type of hole ground. I need to aerate the lawn. Hey, Simpson, so how you doing? But also, I'm going to repot my cherry tomato plant. I got a bigger pot. My hydrangeas, oh my God, they look beautiful. But I got to trim some of them. When they get too big, they hang over and droop and fall in the yard. And I got to stand up in one of my rose plants. I watched the UPS guy walk all over my grass because he couldn't walk on the sidewalk. I need to straighten it up. I'm ready to go home. I'm tired. Not frustrated, but I'm just tired. I'm tired of the truck. I'm tired of being out here. Taking 4 days off. So that's going to be one shit down the drain. But I need the time off. Thinking if I get a whole full Friday, I'm thinking of trying to message the lady at the horse ranch, see if I can get some of that horse manure. So I can spread that out. I got to dip and spread that out to put some topsoil on that in an area of the front lawn in the front that I want to try to level out. The horse manure is free. And it will feed the ground. I know that. And spread it out. But I'm going to see. It's just something, trying to look for the cheapest way to keep going forward with my lawn renovations. It's taking forever. I'm getting frustrated. I keep going. But it's starting to fill in. The deals are not going to come till this winter. That's when I get good deals on the side and everything like that. But it is what it is. But we're getting better. We're figuring it out. But like I said, I'm probably going to. It might either be. I can't do it Saturday. But I might do it Sunday. I might do it Sunday or Friday. Sunday or Friday, I might do a marathon. I'm gonna do a real long line. But I got to see if I can make my 4K to my laptop so my phone will overheat if I do it too long. You know what I mean? And that's the frustrating part. And I'm just gonna let it run. I need to start getting my hours back. I'm just gonna let it run and we're just gonna figure it out. Hopefully, I'm gonna do it for YouTube live, but I gotta make sure it's not on private. I gotta make sure it's not on private. You know what I'm saying? God. I'm gonna let him over. See how I slow down, so that gives him enough speed in there. And see, another thing about driving these trucks, you don't realize certain areas it looks like, like right now, it looks like it's a straight road, but I'm climbing. I hear the engine, my speed doesn't slow down. A lot of times, your perception is not your reality. I'm climbing. And on the other side, I'm like, why am I going to spin? It looks straight. It's not straight. You're going downhill. That's another thing you gotta learn is driving these big machines, this big Mufasa, and so forth and so on. But okay, guys, thank you for listening to me rant for a good minute. Let you know I appreciate y'all. Thank you for being part of the live. Joining me this morning. Coming up next, Wellness with Fuga Mama, YouTube workout on Eddie Lugo Studios, 7:15. After that, cruising is fun anytime at Eddie Lugo Studios. Go live together at 9 o'clock. Miss T 9:15. Check them out. Check each other out. And as always, you think nobody loves you. I love you. God loves you. Y'all have a blessed day. And we will see y'all tomorrow. See what drama, what